Hey and welcome to the Daily Arsenal News Show. Let's begin with our daily news. Bruce Arena says Matt Turner now needs to leave Arsenal. Bruce Arena has told MLS Soccer that Matt Turner now needs to leave Arsenal to play regularly after his performances for the USA at the World Cup. Turner was one of several US players who saw his stock rise while over in Qatar. The 28-year-old was picked as Greg Berhalter's number one at the tournament, and he started all four of their games during the tournament. It proved to be a bittersweet time for the Americans. There is certainly a debate to be had regarding whether they managed to surpass expectations, but Turner was definitely one player who impressed. The last 16 tie with the Netherlands saw the first time Turner was beaten from open play. He made some important saves, but perhaps more importantly, he appeared to be an assured presence between the sticks. Of course, Turner doubled his number of appearances for the season for club and country. He went into the World Cup having played just 4 times for the Gunners, having joined as an understudy to Aaron Ramsdale. Turner would have been under no illusions regarding his position in the pecking order when he joined, but Arena, who has managed the national team on 2 occasions, has now urged Turner to leave the Emirates to ensure that he does not lose his place. Arena said, Matt can't be at fault for the 3 goals against and made several great saves in the second half to keep the US alive in the game. Like the team, this was the first time he was truly tested at the World Cup. Now, Matt's going to fall in line with the likes of Brad Friedel and Casey Keller one day. He has to move out of Arsenal to start playing on a regular basis, but he's proven himself to be a very good goalkeeper for the US. The World Cup may perhaps be the kind of competition which does Mike Turner rethink his current plans. It was a big call to pick him while also leaving Zach Steffen out of the squad altogether. That may perhaps be one rivalry to keep an eye on over the next 4 years ahead of 2026. Turner has the gloves right now. However, Arena is probably right to suggest that sitting on the bench at Arsenal may not do him too many favors. It will be interesting to see if the goalkeeper takes a similar view over the next few months. Xhaka insists he didn't want to provoke anyone with his on-field gesture against Serbia. Granit Xhaka caused controversy as he played for Switzerland against Serbia on a Friday night in a heated match which the Swiss side won 3-2. The win eliminated their opponents from the competition and qualified them for the next round. The midfielder captains his country and was caught on camera holding his crotch in front of the Serbian bench, a gesture that angered them and nearly erupted into an on-field melee. After the game, tensions boiled over again, but the midfielder has played down the incidents and insists it was just his emotions that got the best of him. He said, as quoted by TalkSport, "You can hear from my voice that I am hoarse. It's a game with a lot of emotion, that's football. It was fair enough, we wanted to focus on football." Whenever these two nations meet, it is always an emotional game, and much was at stake in the match, so we cannot blame Xhaka for letting his emotions get the better of him. The midfielder remains one of our best improved players, and his leadership qualities are clear for all to see when he wears the Arsenal shirt. We cannot wait to have him back leading our other stars on the return of Premier League football. Darren Bent cheekily reacts to Partey's World Cup departure. Darren Bent has been one of Arsenal's very active social media fans, and he has used Twitter to react to Ghana's exit from the World Cup. The Black Stars simply had to avoid defeat in their final group game against Uruguay to reach the next round of the World Cup, but the South Americans beat them 2-0. This means Thomas Partey will return to the Emirates shortly to begin preparing for the return of club football. Bent is clearly delighted by this development and posted a meme on Twitter of Thierry Henry laughing and sad at the same time with the caption, "I will be gutted for Ghana going out and Thomas Partey having to come back to Arsenal early." Partey is one of our key players and we needed him to be back in time and fit for the restart of football. This means most Arsenal fans will be as happy as Bent is about Ghana's departure from the World Cup, even though We would have loved him to go as far as possible. Knowing his injury history, having him back fit and ready for the next round of games is a major plus for Arsenal. Hopefully, more of our players will be back fit and ready for the resumption of club duties as well. Gabriel Jesus' injury news could be even worse for Arsenal than initially thought. It could be that Arsenal are facing an even longer period without the injured Gabriel Jesus than initially expected. The Brazil international has picked up a serious knock whilst in Qatar for the World Cup, and it's now posing major questions for the Gunners ahead of the January transfer window. Jesus has been a key player for Arsenal since joining them from Manchester City in the summer, helping them take a surprise 5-point lead at the top of the Premier League table. Now, however, it could be that Jesus is facing 3 months out of action, according to some sources cited. Sport V on Twitter said the following: Gabriel Jesus, 3 months out, will need to have surgery on his knee. He is flying to London on Sunday at 3 p.m., meaning today, to begin his recovery. Really bad news. This is despite Globo Esporte initially reporting that Jesus was estimated to be out for a month, which would have been bad enough for Mikel Arteta and co. If Jesus really does end up missing 3 months of the season, it's surely vital for Arsenal to sign up a top attacking player this winter, or their title dreams will be over pretty quickly. Romano says Arsenal-linked N'Golo Kante is expected to leave Chelsea. Fabrizio Romano has told his YouTube channel that those close to N'Golo Kante expect the midfielder to leave Chelsea when his contract expires, amid reported interest from Arsenal. Kante's future has been a talking point for some time. His deal at Stamford Bridge expires at the end of the campaign, and his influence on the Blues side has wanted in more recent times. Injuries have become more of a factor in the Frenchman's career. He was sidelined for the World Cup, having not played a single minute in the Premier League since August. Nevertheless, there is interest from Arsenal and their rival Tottenham. Foot Mercato reported that he had been offered to the North London pair, with the former Leicester star very happy in the capital. It remains to be seen whether the Gunners do indeed make a move, but Romano has now suggested that there is a belief from both Kante and Chelsea that he will be leaving in the coming month. The prospect of signing Kante may worry plenty of Arsenal fans. He is not the same player who was, by far, the best midfielder in the world for a couple of years at one stage. He won league titles with Leicester and Chelsea in successive years, and he went on to play a key role as France won the World Cup in Russia. Injuries have unfortunately really hurt Kante since, and that is why there is now a good chance that he could leave Chelsea on a free transfer. But for Arsenal, he could perhaps be a sensible addition. Arsenal do not necessarily need to bolster their strongest midfield lineup. The trio of Thomas Partey, Granit Xhaka and Martin Odegaard have been exceptional this term, but Kante is an amazing player, so adding him to the ranks would have the potential to be a masterstroke. He will not come cheap. Spotrac shows that he earns £290,000 a week at Chelsea, but given the lack of a transfer fee, Mikel Arteta's men would be wise to put themselves in the mix. Marcus Thuram's coach is worried about his player leaving in January amid Arsenal links. Arsenal have been linked with Borussia Mönchengladbach player Marcus Thuram in recent weeks. According to Milan Live, the Gunners are battling a number of European sides to sign the France international, and 90 Minutes recently reported that Arsenal have sent scouts to watch Thuram in action in recent weeks. The Gunners may well be in the market for attacking reinforcements in wake of Gabriel Jesus' injury. Arsenal also tried to sign a winger in the summer, but failed to get one over the line. Thuram would tick both boxes for Mikel Arteta. He can play at centre forward and on the flanks. Furthermore, his contract expires at the end of the season, so he could be available for a bargain price. Gladbach coach Oliver Neuville has already admitted it will be difficult for Thuram to remain at the club. He told Radio Sportiva via Newcastle Word that the player's chances of staying are slim amid so much interest. He said, He is having an amazing season, he's scored a lot of goals. I think it will be difficult for him to stay at Gladbach. If he continues to score so many goals, it's certain he will have many offers from Italy, Spain, and England. We must also be a little realistic. I hope he will still be here for a long time in Mönchengladbach, but now he's been called up by the French for the World Cup. It will be difficult for him to extend. I hope he stays, but the chances are slim. Arsenal tipped to sign Leroy Sane, another player, because of Arteta. Mikel Arteta has made Arsenal one of the strongest teams in England after a summer that saw them add some fine names to their squad. The Gunners are top of the Premier League table now and remain one of the most informed sides in Europe, although it's probably still too early to determine if they will win the league. It is almost certain they will finish this season inside the top 4. That will earn them a return to the Champions League and an opportunity to sign some top talents, but the influence of Arteta will remain important. Leroy Sane has been linked with a move to the Emirates, and journalist Pete O'Rourke tells Football Fancast the gaffer could influence the German's decision. He said, "So I think any player wants to go into a club where you can immediately settle, and if you have got a previous relationship with the players or coaching staff, sure, it is something that will seriously come into their consideration about where they possibly move. Considering they have worked together before, Sané will feel it will be easier for him to shine at Arsenal. However, the move also hinges on if he wants to return to the Premier League and join another club after his time at Manchester City." Journalist reveals Arteta's stance on attacking target Mykhaylo Mudryk. Player wants Arsenal move. Arsenal have been linked with a move for the Ukrainian winger Mykhaylo Mudryk in recent months. The 21-year-old has been outstanding for Shakhtar Donetsk this season, and he has 10 goals and 8 assists to his name across all competitions. The player is thought to be on the radar of Premier League rivals Newcastle United as well. According to a report from Give Me Sport, the Gunners believe that the player is keen on a move to the Emirates, but manager Mikel Arteta is yet to make up his mind. Benny Jacobs said to GMS, "Arsenal believe that the player wants them, but Mikel Arteta hasn't yet made up his mind. Although he likes the player and Arsenal would like to strengthen in that position, it is still a hefty price to pay. The Ukrainian is likely to cost a considerable amount of money, and it remains to be seen whether Arteta is prepared to sanction his transfer in the coming months. It's no secret that Arsenal will need to add more depth to their attack, and they have been overly reliant on Gabriel Martinelli and Bukayo Saka this season. Mudryk would add more quality and depth to their front three, and his arrival would allow Arteta to rest some of his key players from time to time. The Gunners are currently at the top of the Premier League table, and they will be hoping to sustain the title challenge over the next few months. They will need more options at their disposal in order to compete on all fronts, and Mudryk seems like a quality acquisition on paper. With the player keen on the move, the transfer could be fairly straightforward for the London club. However, it remains to be seen whether they are prepared to pay the asking price for the Ukrainian. It will be interesting to see whether the Gunners can bring in the necessary reinforcements during the January transfer window and win the Premier League title this season. I will be uploading daily Arsenal news, so keep your eyes on the channel and don't forget to like and subscribe. I appreciate your support. Peace out.